Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep and deconstructing the incredible guitar sound of Akira Kuwahara, the absolute sonic architect behind the band RADWIMPS.
A mass of pure sense. I mean, that's how people have described his playing, and you know what? It's spot on. It's so much more than just the pedals on his board or the guitar in his hands. It's this whole artistic vision, a mix of killer technique, smart tech, and just pure musical gut feeling. So yeah, let's get into it.
So here's the plan. We'll start with his role in the band, then check out his main guitars and amps, get lost in his universe of pedals, break down his unique playing style, and wrap it all up with how you can get a piece of that sound for yourself.
All right, Section 1, the architect of sound. See, the thing is, you can't really get Kuwahara's sound in a vacuum. It's all about this chemical reaction that happens between him and the other guitarist, Yojiro Noda. It's pure magic.
So here's how it works. You've got Yojiro Noda laying down the foundation, right? The core chords, the main riff, it's solid. But then Kuwahara comes in and just weaves these incredibly intricate, tricky, and super emotional lines all around it. It's not just a second guitar part, it really is that chemical reaction we were talking about. The two parts mix and create something totally new and bigger than either one alone.
Okay, so now that we get the concept, let's talk tools. How does he actually build these sounds? Well, like any artist, he needs his canvas and his brush. For Kuwahara, that means some very specific choices when it comes to his foundational gear, his guitars and amps.
But wait, before we even list the gear, we have to talk about his core philosophy. And this is a big one. He calls it the subtraction aesthetic. What does that mean? It means he's not trying to be the loudest guy in the room. It's all about creating space, making sure every single note he plays has a purpose and complements everything else, instead of just creating a wall of sound. And this idea, it completely shapes the gear he picks. And that's why his whole setup is built around clarity and responsiveness. It all makes sense, right? He'll grab a Fender Telecaster when he needs that sharp, clear tone for cutting rhythms, or he'll switch to a Jazzmaster for those floaty, atmospheric sounds that work so well with effects. And the amp? Often it's a matchless DC-30, which is just legendary for its clarity and how it reacts to your playing. It captures every little detail. So he's got this amazing, clear foundation. But this is where things get really wild. He takes that core sound and launches it into a whole other universe, using a massive palette of pedals. Yeah, over 30 pedals, seriously. Think about that. We're talking more than 30 individual effects in his main touring rig. It's not just a pedal board, it's spread out over racks and controlled by some seriously high-tech switching systems. It's a sonic laboratory at his feet. Let's just geek out on his overdrive section for a second. It's basically a library of dirt. You've got the classic TS9 and TS808 for that mid-hump punch. You've got a blues driver, an OCD, but then you also have stuff like the Sweet Honey Overdrive for that super transparent touch-sensitive grit. He can literally dial in any flavor of drive he needs for any part, at any time. And he doesn't stop at just drive pedals. He dives deep into modulation and pitch shifting with some heavy hitters like the Eventide Pitch Factor and Mod Factor. But here's where it gets really creative. He's got stuff like an Electro Harmonics organ machine and a Digitech whammy on there. He's not just affecting his guitar's sound, he's literally transforming it into a completely different instrument.
Now, for time and space, it's all about having options. He's got workhorses like the Boss DD7 and the iconic Line 6 DL4, but he pairs them with these beautiful, lush, ambient machines like the Strymon Blue Sky. It's this mix of standard and boutique, digital and ambient that lets him create that incredible sense of depth and atmosphere you hear all over their records.
So the obvious question, right? You've got 30-plus pedals. How in the world do you control all of that live without doing a tap dance? Well, the answer is some very smart tech. He uses advanced MIDI controllers and programmable switchers. Think of them as the brain of the whole operation. Something like the Free the Tone Arc 3 lets him program these super complex combinations of pedals. So instead of hitting 5 pedals, he hits one button and boom, a whole new sound is ready to go. It's genius. Okay, but let's be real. All this gear, it's amazing, but it's just a tool, right? It's just there to serve his musical ideas. The real magic, the thing that makes him sound like him, isn't in the pedals, it's in his hands. Take this one move he does, this keyboard-like interval jump. You hear it a lot in a song like Tome. So what he'll do is hit a low, open string, that's his anchor, and then immediately jump way up the neck to a super high fretted note.
It creates this huge, dramatic leap in sound. It's almost like how a piano player can hit a bass note and a treble note at the same time. He's thinking outside the typical guitar box.
And then there's this rhythm playing. Oh man. Just listen to something like hyperventilation. He's got this incredible rhythmic precision. He'll take these simple chord shapes and just chop them up into these tight, staccato, punchy phrases. He's not just playing chords, he's turning his guitar into this percussive engine that drives the whole song forward. All right, so let's put all the pieces together. We've got the philosophy, the gear, the technique. How does it all add up? Let's try to decode the formula behind that signature RADWIMPS sound.
When you break it down, it's really like 3 big equal parts. About 30% is his foundational tone, that clear, responsive sound from his guitars and amps. Another 30% is that massive, expansive universe of effects he uses for all the color and texture. And the other 30%? That's his unique, tricky playing style. But what holds it all together is that last 10%, his whole philosophy of subtraction, of always making sure the music has room to breathe. It's the secret ingredient.
So you're probably thinking, that's awesome, but I don't have a pro-level budget. Don't worry, you don't need one to start exploring his sound. A versatile Boss blues driver can get you really close to that nuanced, touch-sensitive overdrive. And instead of buying 30 pedals, check out a multi-effects unit like a Zoom G3XN or a Line 6 Pod Go. It's a fantastic way to play with all those delays, reverbs, and crazy modulations he's known for. So at the end of the day, looking at Akira Kuwahara's whole setup it's a great reminder, right? The gear provides the colors, it gives you the palette to work with, but the real art, the thing that makes it special, is always going to be in the hands and in the mind of the person playing. Which really makes you think, what's more important, the gear or the guitarist? Thanks for watching.